Edgar Berlanga, he has officially done it. He's jumped out the window. In this video, I'm going to break it down. He's basically accusing Hamzah Shiraz of cheating with illegal hand wrap. Your boy Ego, I got to break this one down, man. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. I mean, I gotta do it. Now, this video is pretty much a follow-up to some of the other videos that I've made. I do not like to repeat myself, but there are new people, so I will say it again. You need to subscribe and join the Boxing Ego community for all of your boxing needs. The more people that join, you'll be up to date and know what's going on. So you would have already seen the video where I talked about this, because I'm just gonna give the cliff notes. I spend time on these videos, right? I know I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. I know I make it look pretty. I know I make it look easy, but I spend time curating this content. So I don't like to do the same work twice and do it over. I already made the video. But for the new people, I'm doing you a favor. Edgar Berlanga, his wife, came out and started to repost. There's reports from content creators that Hamzah Shiraz's hand wraps looked to be suspicious. They looked illegal. It looked like he was cheating. You know, this was what was being insinuated. So your boy Ego, I made videos touching on the subject matter and whatnot. Then it got to the point where Edgar Berlanga's wifey, or his girl, I don't know if they're actually married legally or whatever, but his girl started posting it. So she pretty much is co-signing that she's under the impression that something underhanded happened in the Berlanga Hamzah Shiraz. So basically, Hamzah Shiraz and his team are being painted as the villain, right? They cheated. Why did Berlanga? And I'm not telling you my opinion. I'm telling you what occurred. But some of the sentiments were, how did Berlanga go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez? Payday, you want payday? I know that, right? How did he go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, who has power, who's been fighting at the division, fought a couple of fights at 175 even, and Berlanga went 12 with him, and then Hamzah Shiraz, his very first fight going from 160 to 168, coming off a performance with Carlos Adames where he didn't particularly look great. He really should have lost that fight to Adames, right? So he just moved up in weight and he's carrying all this power. That's what people were saying when this stuff came out. And, you know, it's this big conspiracy theory about Hamzah Shiraz's rap, and was it ill-gotten? Did he do some trickery with his rap? So much to the point where Hamzah Shiraz came out and he explained his side of things. And I covered that too, right? So that's where we're at. Now, I got to say real quick, there's a lot of people who do like mathematical equations and they do triangle theories. This guy beat this guy, so this future fight, this guy should beat this guy because this and this happened. Boxing does not work like that. Triangle theories don't work. I don't know how many times I need to say that. And the same thing is kind of like a triangle theory, very close to it, when we're saying, how come Canelo couldn't knock out Berlanga, but Shiraz bodied him, dropped him, hurt him badly, and knocked him out? I mean, first of all, they're not like twins. This is not Gemini Man where it's like a prototype and a clone of the same fighter. Hamzah Shiraz is his own person, right? He's his own fighter. He carries his own power, his own chin, his own confidence, his own stature and height and attributes. Like, what are people talking about? You know what I mean? Making it like, oh, Canelo couldn't even do this. Just because you rate Canelo highly, Canelo ain't stopped a lot of people. You know what I mean? He couldn't stop John Ryder. And then John Ryder, his next fight, fought Jaime Munguia. And then Jaime Munguia stopped John Ryder. And then Canelo dropped and hurt Jaime Munguia and beat him pretty easily. Again, these are triangle theories. Doesn't really work like that. Because if it did, then one could argue, using this stupid triangle theory and equation, you could say, oh, Munguia destroyed John Ryder and he did it in less rounds and actually got a stoppage, whereas Canelo didn't. But none of that mattered when Canelo fought Munguia and beat him up, right? So I want that to be clear. That's my opinion regarding, people are saying, how come Canelo couldn't do this, but Berlanga, who cares? Like, Canelo is his own person. Shiraz is a tall person, so the punches are coming from a totally different trajectory and a different height. And to be honest, from what I've seen in them early first 2-3 rounds, Hamzah Shiraz's height was giving Berlanga all the problems in the world, whereas Berlanga is way bigger than Canelo Alvarez, right? So Berlanga fighting a taller person created a different complexity that wasn't evident against Berlanga fighting a smaller person. Mind you, Canelo, he was at welterweight, 154. So he is a smaller guy who over the years moved up, versus Hamzah Shiraz. He looked like a big frame, kind of wiry build, and he was coming from 160 and he's 6 feet tall or whatever. I don't know his actual height, 6'2", 6'3", right? Just different fighters. So I want that to be clear. But Berlanga did jump out the window, and he's pretty much finally speaking out his piece, in my opinion, and I'm gonna explain. But you see, before the previous videos that I made, it was his girl. His wife was kind of putting it out, and fans and content creators and people. And he was doing like little things like liking the video or liking the post where people were talking about it, but he didn't really say anything or post anything that I was aware of until now. And now Berlanga has fully committed to this conspiracy theory that something was done in the Hamzah Shiraz fight, right? Because he posted a picture of Antonio Margarito, right? And is showing Antonio Margarito's gloves. Now, if you know your boxing history, you will know that Antonio Margarito was busted for plaster of Paris in his fight with Shane Mosley, right? Rest in peace to brother Nassim Richardson, right? And there's a huge controversy because Margarito pretty much got found out to be a cheater. How long was he doing that little cheat code trick with the wrap? And with the wrap, what they do is put the plaster of Paris on, so the sweat molecules and the moisture mix in with the chemicals from the plaster on the wrap, and what it does is it hardens like a cast. So a person who already hits hard, now they really is thumping. Now they really got some thump because you're hitting somebody almost with the cast, right? So it's hardening your wraps. And if you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know how to catch it, which obviously Cotto's team didn't see it or whatever in real time, it was only after the Shane Mosley, his camp was able to catch it that Margarito kind of got exposed. So everybody who knows boxing, they understand that. They know Miguel Cotto's a Puerto Rican fighter. Edgar Berlanga is a Puerto Rican fighter. Cotto, many believe he got cheated once we found out the foul that Margarito was doing. So by posting, Edgar Berlanga posted a picture of Antonio Margarito from the infamous Cotto fight, where again, many people feel that Margarito cheated Cotto based on, like, if you look at Cotto's face was all lumped up, he was bleeding profusely. Nobody had really done that to Miguel Cotto. He was undefeated at the time. Yes, Cotto got hurt by Torres and then came back and stopped Torres, but nobody did what Margarito did. So a lot of people believe that Margarito cheated. So Berlanga has officially jumped out the window by him posting this. Don't play games. I don't like to play games, because some people are going to be like, oh, but Ego, he didn't say anything. That's what this new generation likes to do. They want to be slick and imply things, but they don't want to just come out and say it and post it. So they want to be cryptic. But everybody who knows boxing knows that picture. That's the picture that Cotto was on the face-off on HBO, and he confronted Margarito after we found out Margarito was a cheater from the Shane Mosley fight with the plaster of Paris. So by Berlanga, he knows what he's doing by putting that out. Again, Cotto being a Puerto Rican fighter that most people believe got cheated by a known cheater, and now he's a Puerto Rican fighter, and his whole team have been posting and pretty much co-signing that illegal stuff was done with the rap. Now he's posting the picture of Margarito. We know what time it is. We know what he's implying. And my thing is this, and I want to be clear. There's going to be people who pick a side and all that, but I treat it like a court case. It is going to be really hard for Edgar Berlanga to prove what he is saying and what he is talking about. Point blank, period. Because for them to convict, for them to change the ruling, change it from a no contest, no decision or whatever, and change it, change the outcome or penalize or suspend Hamzah Shiraz, you are going to have to be able to prove unequivocally, without a shadow of doubt, just like the court of law, without a reasonable doubt, that what you are claiming, what you are saying happened to you, actually happened, right? And in my opinion, Berlanga is not going to be able to do that unless there's some secret sauce and, more unfolds with this. I don't see how he does that. If you get cheated, unfortunately, you kind of, in boxing, we know boxing's foul, crooked, corrupt, etc. You kind of have to catch people in the act. The people who have gotten caught in the act, that's where you could do something about it. But you, after the fact, and I'm not saying that Hamzah Shiraz did or didn't do it. I don't know what he did. So it's not to place blame or anything. But what I'm saying is, even hypothetically, using what Berlanga is saying, you can't really prove what you're saying. Everything is circumstantial. Everything is like he said, she said. And we know that doesn't hold up in the court of law, right? You have to be able to prove I was cheated. This man had illegal raps. And Hamzah Shiraz, I made a video about it. Like I said, he did an interview and he kind of rebutted all of what was being said. He said, for one, it's kind of a compliment that they're saying I cheated, because that means he's in denial and I beat you down so good that you think I had to cheat you in order to have that outcome. So you're just reaching for the stars, trying to find any kind of way. It's like somebody getting in crazy shape in 4 months and then they're ripped and you're like, oh, you're on steroids. You think that the person had to get on steroids to get that jacked in that period of time. So it's kind of a compliment if you're not actually a steroid juice head and you did it natty, and in your heart of all hearts, you did it natty. So I don't understand really what Berlanga is attempting here. The world's seen the fight. The world's seen the knockout. And here's the other thing is, I hate to be cruel, but I'm realistic. The reality is, you entered this fight knowing the odds weren't in your favor, meaning The organizer of the event has a relationship. He's a Muslim, and Hamzah Shiraz is a Muslim. Hamzah Shiraz is also a representative of the company. He's an ambassador for Ring in Riyadh season. So you knew going into this, they wanted him to win because you talked about it at the face-off, right? Berlanga was like, I'm your Canelo. See, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to spoil Turkey's plans. They want you to win. They try to match you with Canelo. So for real, Berlanga knew to play. He knew to play that, not saying that you could get cheated, but you haven't been able to prove that he actually cheated you. But you knew that they wanted him to win, right? So what I'm saying is, who's going to do this investigation and give you guys the necessary evidence for you to actually take this anywhere? So right now, you're just going to look desperate, posting a picture of Margarito, and people are going to be flaming you in the comment section because it looks like you're a poor sport and you're trying to incriminate somebody's name, and you really have only a conspiracy theory and circumstantial evidence to kind of back up your claim. And again, that's just not enough. There's police officers where they're pretty sure, or they have a hunch or a theory that this person committed these crimes, right? These atrocities, this shooting, this person that was unalived and MDK'd, the police believe that Gary did it, right? But if the police cannot find compelling DNA evidence or forensic evidence that links Gary to the crime, even though they think he did it and they have hunches and suspicion and a bunch of circumstantial evidence, good luck, because that's just simply not good enough in the court of law. Imagine going before a judge and you're like the police and you're presenting your case. I know Gary shot this man and unalived him and blah, blah, blah. And the judge says, how do you know? You're explaining to the jury. And you're like, because he did it. I know he did it. And then you list a bunch of circumstantial evidence, which at best, that's what Edgar Berlanga has. And again, Hamzah Shiraz already spoke to it, right? He said, the discoloration on my wrap, that comes from my glove. So there's no issue there. I'm telling you how it happened. Now you have to get a scientist to either find the wrap and then run it through a electronic spectrometer or something to diagnose if that is plausible, if the dye matches the glove on the end. It's just like, what are we talking about, bro? Again, when you are the accuser, the burden of proof is on you to prove what you've said and show. You're like, what are you going to tell the commission in New York? Hey, I know the New York State Athletic Commission signed off and a member of his team was present, but look, there was discoloration. And he's like, oh, it's because of my glove. How do you disprove that? Right? And then again, triangle theories like Canelo didn't hurt him that bad. Canelo's not Hamzah Shiraz. They're different fighters. Hamzah Shiraz is 6'3", younger than Canelo. Because what I seen, Berlanga was having a hard time getting in range, getting close because of Hamzah Shiraz's size and frame and how he was boxing, versus Berlanga was bigger than Canelo. So that wasn't really so much a problem trying to get towards Canelo because Canelo was smaller. So different fighters, different puzzles to figure out, different attributes, different power, different torque on the punches. You know what I mean? You can't say, oh, how come Canelo didn't knock him out, but so-and-so knocked him out? You know what I mean? Because Canelo looks like he hits harder than Munguia, but then Canelo couldn't knock out John Ryder, and Munguia did knock out John Ryder. You know what I mean? These equations and triangle theories really don't matter in the sport of boxing. I'm here to tell you. So I don't think this will go anywhere because, again, the burden is on Berlanga. So he can post Margarito pictures all day. He can eventually do interviews, but they're going to say he did what Wilder did. You know what I mean? Where people are saying Wilder in the suit and the suit was too heavy. Boxing fans don't take kindly to that. And if you're calling the man a cheater, at some point you're going to have to drop some new data or some new bombshell information to get people on your side. And I just don't see with this case. I've heard both sides of the case. I heard Hamzah Shiraz rebuttal it, and I heard Berlanga's side, you know what I mean, and what he believes. It's a conspiracy theory with circumstantial evidence at best. The burden of proof lies with you. And I don't see how if you didn't catch it in the heat of the moment, what are you going to do? Where are those gloves now? Where are the wraps now? What to test? And again, you knew that was Turkey's boy. So the politics aren't really on your side, because the fans seem like they were happy that Edgar Berlanga lost. And this is really nothing new for fighters. Fighters be in denial. Fighters feel invincible and bulletproof, and they think they can beat anybody. So some fighters have really a difficult time coming to grips with getting cooked. They be like, oh, the referee, he stopped it too early. I literally heard, I think recently, there was a fighter. It was Tevin Farmer. That's who it was. Yeah, Tevin Farmer got cooked by Floyd Schofield. Knocked out in the first round. Everything was valid. There was no failed test. Floyd Schofield just slept you. And Tevin Farmer literally, he did a video talking about the ref should have gave him more time because he's a former champion. So again, a lot of fighters are in denial when these things happen. And I've even seen, there's an old fighter and he blamed losing on his jerry curl. I am not making this up. There is a fighter who had curl activator, a jerry curl, and when he said he got blinded or something, it's an old clip I seen, but he blamed his jerry curl on why he lost his fight. So fighters, this is nothing new. When they lose and lose bad, it's almost like I can't just swallow that. I can't, that's a tough pill to swallow. I can't believe that I got bested like that in front of my hometown crowd in New York, He had to do something. He had to cheat. But again, good luck proving it. You could post Margarito and Cotto and Collins, Resto, and whoever else you want. Wilder, Fury, Glovegate. But it's not going to help your brand, in my opinion, at this point. The only way it will is if new information develops, or you have some like person on his team came out and said, yeah, we cooked the raps, and you got somebody on your side. And for me, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard nothing extra. So I don't look for this to go anywhere. Let me know how I did and what you think of Edgar Berlanga. Still accusing Hamzah Shiraz directly, subliminally, indirectly. It don't matter. We know what it is. Let me know what you think. He's accusing Shiraz of cheating still. Subscribe for more boxing news we unpack. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.